Video game journos are some of the most embarrassing people within this industry, and it is always hilarious when gamers point and laugh at them for their ridiculous takes, and now PC Gamer is complaining that there isn't a big red health bar above every single boss's name, and they're talking about how this mod might be the first one they install. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, companies like a Ubisoft, for example, love to put these crazy UIs into their games, and that's why gamers constantly mock them because they want their hands held. These journos want every single company to make the most obnoxious UIs possible and game designs possible. That's why things like, I don't know, the yellow paint in titles have been normalized to show you where you're going so they can hold your hand so you don't get lost and then get frustrated and then uninstall. And while I think that these are fine features that you can toggle on and off for your gaming experience to be customized the way that you want, you would think that people who play games for a living or allegedly play games for a living wouldn't need these tools at their disposal, but they're going into articles complaining about how this title, specifically Monster Hunter Wilds, doesn't have a big red health bar thrown in your face, and gamers are ruthlessly mocking them. So this is by Stevie Bonifield. It says, Monster Hunter Wilds mods are already here, and I found the first one new players should install, a mod that adds a health bar for monsters, allowing you to see exactly how much damage you've dealt and how far you've got left to go. Now, I don't think that this person legitimately played any of this game because the game does feature systems that actually show you what you're doing and how much kind of progress you've made. Now, in case these journos didn't know, over at the bottom left, if you've targeted the enemy, you can see what their kind of heartbeat is at. You can see that it's in the red, it's no longer in the blue. So you have that indicator, but your Palico constantly tells you, like, it's getting low, we're doing good. Your AI companions keep saying, keep up the great work, it's almost there, it's almost dead, but there are also visual cues because the bosses, they slow down, they start moving around like in very different kind of jagged ways because they're starting to panic because they're clearly dying. Like, there are multiple different indicators as to what is going on within your game. I don't know how much more the developers could really hold your hand with a title like this. But of course, for some people, that's not enough. And again, if you are just an average customer and you think having a health bar mod could up your experience, that's great. Like, go ahead and download it. But this is a person who is supposed to be a professional kind of video game player. He's supposed to be playing video games all of the time for work, so you think that they would just want to play the way the developers intended so that they can judge the experience the developers came up with. Veteran players of the Monster Hunter franchise may be familiar with mods like this for previous games, but if you're new, you might be wondering why you can't see monsters' HP. The lack of visibility can make it difficult to tell which weapons and combos work best for you, which is especially frustrating if you haven't played a Monster Hunter game before. One modder created a tweak that adds a basic no-frills health bar showing current and total HP under each monster's name. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done, and I'm sure over the next few weeks there's going to be even more mods like that, more advanced mods, ones that are like a little bit less simple. But again, I don't really think that you need it, judging by the multiple other visual and audio cues. And because PC Gamer put up this article, they are getting brutally roasted. I mean, clearly this ratio is a glorious one. 4.8 million views, 583 likes to 1.1k comments and 1.5k retweets. Just so hilarious. There's a heartbeat already in the game that gives you this information, not to mention monsters drooling, parts breaking, moving slower, not being able to use their abilities anymore. The list goes on and on. Just open your eyes, mate, which, yeah, I mean, these are also things that, like, I didn't even think of explaining, but these do exist in the game. You would think that that would just be enough, but it's not. Health bars, I know what you are. Whoever wrote this never played a Monster Hunter game before. Hey, you did the Ubisoft UI meme, which just looks like visual vomit everywhere. Everything is giant and it's telling you what buttons to click and it's giving you all these different quests and you've got 20 abilities on your hotbar. Like, I understand this could be an enjoyable experience for some people, basically having all of the information handed to you, but that's never been Monster Hunter. And maybe this person just hasn't played a Monster Hunter title, or maybe they just wanted to seem like they're for the average gamers who might need a health bar. But to present it as this is the first one I'm going to download when you're a game journo just makes you look even more ridiculous than your profession already does. Health bar for monsters gotta be the trashiest idea ever. Monsters constantly show their HP by their visuals and animations, not to mention the map indicator telling you the monster being enraged or critical. All of that is pretty much part of the charm of this game. I've given up counting the number of reasons gamers no longer take game journalists seriously. Still installing mods because you are lazy since the Sekiro controversy. Gen Z gamers. There's literally a health bar in the game. It's called a magic skull that pops up on the minimap, and once the skull is up, you have the right to catch the monster in the quest immediately, or you know that the monster's close to dead. Absolutely mind-blowing. Just keep hitting it until it dies, and then there's tons of people calling them tourists, and it's hard to sit here and give them any sort of like benefit of the doubt, like, oh, you know, maybe they just didn't realize that bar's there because there's 50 different indicators and cues that you should be able to pick up on. I also think that this is hilarious because these journos are telling people to mod Capcom games, and Capcom absolutely loathes modders. Capcom has said that mods are no different from cheats and that they basically want to ban mods from being used for their titles because of public morals and public outrage, right? So you have a company saying, oh yes, go and mod a game from another company that absolutely hates them. I wonder if PCGamer is going to get Capcom blacklisted now. Wouldn't particularly shock me, and honestly, I wouldn't shed a tear because at the end of the day, PCGamer does suck, but this just goes to show that these people really don't know much about the games that they're playing, and every single person is going to mess up in a game, not be able to land a combo. Maybe they complain about a feature that is actually there that they just didn't know how to activate. Like, these are normal human beings things, but when you are a journo and you are saying that there's not a health bar when really you have 50 other indicators that should suffice, and then you go on to write an article and complain about it, you just look like an absolute joke. So I don't think PCGamer is going to release like any sort of clarification. They look like absolute fools, but then again, when do journos ever really make themselves look good? But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.